I'm going to be talking this month about how your mental health wellness or lack of thereof affects the relationships that you have right now, and especially your intimate relationship. When I think about intimate relationships, I'm thinking about your spouse and your children. For those who are single, I am also thinking in terms of the relationships that you are in your dating process or the ones you hope to go into. Your mental health is how you think about what is going on around your life, how you have thought all through your life, your coping mechanisms that have to do with the way you think and interpret what is happening around you. And an example of that would be if you get into a conflict with someone, you might think that this person is against me, they are disrespecting me. In that situation, you're going to be offended and you are going also to feel hurt because you have personalized it. That affects the way that you're going to react or respond to the situation. Once you get hurt emotionally, you are going to express anger as a way of protecting yourself. So right there, I have just explained to you how your mental health, that is how you think about what is happening around you, impacts how you feel, which is your emotional health. Your emotional health is how you feel and how you manage those feelings. We see that you cannot have good mental health without having good emotional health. So they are connected. Psychological stress is both your mental health and your emotional health, because psychological stress is usually triggered by how you are thinking about a situation and the emotions that are triggered by those thoughts. You get into rumination where you are thinking over and over again about what happened. Then you create what we call psychological stress, and now you can't sleep. You are constantly feeling like you're not in a good space. And this is the spaces where people begin to say, I'm not feeling myself. Or people tell you that there is something that has happened to you. We are experiencing you as being more negative than usual. At this point where your mental health is not okay, that is how your relationship is going to be impacted by your mental wellness or lack thereof. Your relationship is going to be the way that you appear in it. So that means that when I am not in a good space and I come into an interaction with my spouse, the space in my head is going to impact how I experience them and how they experience me, and we will create a conflict that has nothing to do with the issue we are dealing with, but with the mental space where we both are. So my spouse may be in a good mental space, but I am not in a good mental space. So when I come and I start a dialogue, I may start it from a space of anger and frustration, and my spouse is going to interact with that, and at that point we will both start the triggering of each other, and before long we are in a fight, but we don't even know what the fight is about. So that is why it's so important that through these videos that I'm going to be sharing now, that you understand that you have an obligation to be in good mental health, so that you are not creating certain triggers within your relationship that create conflict that you cannot even tell where the conflict is coming from. Some of the things that can create now the conflict within your relationship that is connected to your mental wellness is bitterness, resentment, feelings of grief and loss. And when I say grief and loss, I'm not just talking about death. I'm also talking about a loss of a job, a loss of expectation, a loss of trust, a loss of safety, feelings of abandonment and rejection. They will cause you to be in an unhealthy mental space that could potentially trigger conflict within your relationship, and nobody wants to be in conflict. And so once that conflict comes into your relationship, now your relationship is unable even to support where you are not feeling okay. Now, if your spouse is able to catch that and instead of coming into defense of themselves or coming into counter-attacking you, they can diffuse, so that now you guys don't go into escalation and you are able to manage that space that could have become toxic. We need to be able to be in a space where we are okay, so that when we enter into that relationship space, that we are not bringing, and we are aware that we are not in a very good mental space, so that we protect the relationship from having to experience the toxicity that can come with our challenge with mental wellness. So I hope this helps you and gives you one or two insights on how your relationship can be impacted by the way you are thinking, which is your mental health, and by the way you are feeling, which is your emotional health. And then the two of them, when they come together, they create psychological stress that causes you now to feel out of balance, out of space, and to act in ways that are not going to help the wellness of your relationship. Click the subscribe button if you like this message. Share it with your friends. If I can be of any support to you, I'll be glad to do that. You can call me on the number on the screen or click on my website.